They're problems you hope to never find in an operating room. Surgical instruments with blood or bones still on them. A needle holder with a used needle in it. I'm Mark Greenblatt, Senior National Investigative Correspondent for the Scripps Washington Bureau, with the internal documents showing all of this and more at a VA hospital where insiders say it's been swept under the rug for years.
I'm the one who filled out the report. Where did those reports go?
This surgical technician is speaking out publicly for the first time.
This is ridiculous.
Scott Landrum is talking about long-standing problems with dirty, risky surgical instruments at the Cincinnati VA hospital. Problems the VA says it cannot substantiate.
I'm the person who found the bone on the instruments, and it happened dozens of times. How in the world can someone say that it didn't happen? I did it.
The issues first came to light in a joint Scripps WCPO investigation this February, when a nurse anesthetist told us this.
I've seen surgical instruments that once we open that sterile pack, they will have pieces of bone or other debris from previous surgeries still on the instrumentation.
And so the VA launched its own investigation, but within a few weeks announced the preliminary results, saying that it couldn't find any quality of care problems. But internal documents that we've obtained paint a more disturbing picture. Reports show in fiscal year 2015, in at least 16% of surgeries hospital-wide, unsterilized or otherwise problematic surgical items got sent to the OR. With more than 3,500 surgeries that year, that's 581 impacted. And here, the VA details hundreds of what it calls quality events, repeated instances of bone-contaminated drill bits, broken or rusty surgical instruments, holes in sterile wrappers, or the wrong instruments getting sent to the OR. In one case, a surgical pack was sent to the OR with the word dirty written right on it. That was one of 5 quality events reported the very day the VA sent out this press release saying it found no quality of care issues.
Well, it's typical VA.
Congressman Jeff Miller chairs the House Veterans Affairs Committee and doesn't buy the agency's claims.
I mean, they investigate themselves, they clear themselves, and they say, nothing to see here, we're going to move along.
They need to find out who's covering it up.
Dr. Jonathan Wolf is the former chief resident of the Cincinnati VA, and he says he tried to get leadership's attention to the problem as far back as 2013.
We also saw instances where there was bone in orthopedic reamers.
So this was pieces of bone from someone else's body that could end up in your body.
Oh, exactly, yeah, and you could end up with bone that could potentially be contaminated with some sort of infectious disease.
But when this Harvard-trained surgeon reported what he saw, time and again,
I heard nothing. I mean, I filed anywhere between, 10 and 12 of these incident reports, I believe, and I never heard back about a single one.
Years later, internal documents reveal problems persist, with at least 11 cases from fiscal year 2015 where instruments showed up with suspected biological debris like blood or bones left on the instruments. Earlier this year, an internal panel warned the committee believes staff is not reporting all issues. And when it is reported,
where are all the reports that were filed that were supposed to go to the VISN? Where are they?
Scott Landrum pressed Robert McDivitt, acting network director of the VA's VISN 10 region, who oversees all hospitals in Ohio, Michigan, and Indiana.
We are an open, transparent agency, and we were here tonight to listen to you and hear your concerns. I'd be happy to talk to you afterwards.
2 days later, the local VA did talk to Landrum and said it planned to fire him.
Scott Landrum says he left the VA voluntarily for what he calls a better job. As for Dr. Wolf's reports, well, the VA says they were filed with an operating room manager before he left in 2014, but admits they never got entered into a patient tracking system. The hospital says it has a better system now. To search through recent incidents and the VA's internal documents for yourself, well, you can read them all right here online. Mark Greenblatt for Scripps News in Washington.